Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode of LR Live, we are looking at one of your favourite things, and that is wing top checker plate. Now, for those of you who look at the channel quite a lot, you'll notice that our checker plate has changed from silver to black. These aren't actually fixed, but I have removed the old checker plate. It was really good quality checker plate, to be fair, but it was just looking very tired. And because of the whole design process we've gone through with our vehicle, with the mix of black and white, I wanted to change those silver checker plate tops. Now, the one I'm leaning on here is at the budget end of the spectrum. It's 2mm thick, so slightly thinner than the 3mm thick that's also available. And there's no fixings included. You actually have to mount these onto the wing tops by drilling and using a rivet gun to set rivets through. Now, you've got to get yourself a rivet gun. Now, if you've got a Defender and you haven't got a rivet gun, there's something very wrong there. You need to get yourself a rivet gun, but they're not cheap. You're going to be looking at about 30 quid. Then you've got to get your rivets. And if you get some nice black rivets, you could be looking at between £5 and £10. So there's a good chance that on top of the price you're going to pay for a set of checker plate, the budget set, and you're going to have to invest in a rivet gun, you're going to be looking at 90 quid. So the other option is over here. Now, this is Mammoth checker plate, and it's 3mm thick. The powder coating on it is much more durable than the standard paint on the cheaper version. And you do get a full set of fixings, and they're stainless fixings, they're countersunk, so they're really nice flush finish, and that is a good option. So you're looking at about £100 on this set. Now, one reason why I'm definitely going to be fitting these ones onto our vehicle is because the holes line up with the existing holes that were removed or exposed when I removed the old checker plate. So they line up perfectly, so it makes sense. It's such an easier job for me to mount this on, and it's a perfect fit. So this is the Mammoth checker plate, and then do the wobble test. You can see, you know, that is pretty rigid. You compare that to the 2mm, and you can see there is a big difference. Not to say that this stuff isn't good. It definitely will do the job, and it's going to help protect your wing top. It's going to smarten up the vehicle. It's very inexpensive. You've got yourself a rivet gun, boom, just stick it on and your job is done. But I wanted just to highlight really the differences, so you guys have got an informed choice you can make knowing the differences. Now, the other pro tip I'd give you as well when you're fitting these with a rivet gun is you're just going to be super careful when the rivet gun jumps, when it releases the pin of the rivet. If you can, just get yourself, again, a little bit of neoprene or something. So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This could be made out of anything. It could be old bit of carpet, a bit of rubber floor mat, a bit of an old footwell mat. I've just got this piece of neoprene lying about, but just something that's going to take the impact when you bang it with something sharp. So you just simply lay it over the hole where you're going to put your rivet. Your rivet head will go through the hole in the mat, and obviously when it jumps, it's not going to damage your vehicle. You know, you've got yourself a bit of security there. So it's a little tiny trick that will save your paintwork. This is our budget checker plate, and it's all sitting nice and straight. So it's always a bit of a tricky one, this. When you're actually mounting checker plate, I would run a line along here and make sure I'm happy with that first. And then hopefully that will line up with your hole for your vent or your blanking cover. Now, if you see here where I put my blanking cover, it looks great, but I can see the white of the panel underneath, and that is going to collect a lot of dirt as well. So just be conscious of that. There's not a lot you can do about it, but at the end of the day, it's just the way they're fitted. Now, if we go over to the Mammoth checker plate, a little bit different setup here. So this will actually cover our hole completely, and your plastic will sit inside. Now, you will have to invest in some longer screws once you remove these, because the ones you remove won't be long enough to pass through the checker plate and hit the speed clips inside here. You're going to need to get some longer ones of those, but that's not a problem. That's something you can do. Now, hopefully you can see this is the Mammoth, and the way it's shaped is not only on the front where it slopes down, but also on the side. You can see that ridge all the way along, and that just gives it a much tighter, cleaner fit on the vehicle. What you're going to have on this one is you're going to have a straight edge, which again isn't bad, but you've only obviously got a rivet point here and a rivet point here. So if your wing is badly out of shape and it's dented heavily, you're going to see sort of the shape of the dent underneath here possibly, and there's going to be little gaps. But again, it is a nice clean finish, and it will really smarten up the vehicle. So once you've got it held in position where you want it with your masking tape, just get a Sharpie pen and actually mark on the panel where you want your holes. Don't sort of risk drilling through the checker plate into the actual wing top itself, because it just creates a load of swarf underneath the checker plate, and then that's sort of going to scratch this. Obviously the metal's got to go somewhere, and if it's not pressed down completely, when you start drilling through your wing top, the swarf is all going to collect underneath, and then it's going to be all crunchy and stuff. So once you've got your position right, mark it with your Sharpie pen, take the panel off, drill it, clean it, paint the holes where you've drilled through just to make sure that everything's not going to suffer the elements, and then you're ready to fit it into place. That is a 5mm bolt on there, so I'd be drilling these out to 6 or 7mm just to give me a little bit of room, which is what the person's done before on these, so we're on the same page there. Now, access to the bolts isn't impossible. It's not actually that bad. It's harder on the side of the vehicle where you've got your air intake for your heater matrix, because you can't pass your hand in there and get access to all the nuts and bolts. So on the other side, where you've just got a blanking plate, it's completely open aperture, so you can get your hand in there and it's really easy. Right, I've got one more top tip for you when you're actually going to be fitting checker plate with nuts and bolts, and that is to create yourself a little cradle. Now, if you can't get really easy access to underneath here, you're going to start losing nuts and bolts. So what I'd recommend is make yourself a little trap on your wrench. So that's a bit Americanized, isn't it? On your spanner. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sit the nut in there so I don't lose it. Once you've got your spanner and your nut in there, put your washer in place and just get another piece of tape and just lay it over the top of the washer. 2 reasons that's good: it doesn't come off, and also the yellow, you can see it in the wing much more easily. So I'm seeing some yellow. That is my washer and my nut. Look at that. Perfect. So we get that in there. I've got the torque set really low on this. There we go. So I'm not going to be doing it too tight. I think that's a good little trick with the masking tape. I just think that is a nice way to make sure you don't lose all your washers. So let's crack on and do some more. Now, you're not going to need that nut and washer trick for all of them, because the majority of them you'll be able to get to. And I should say I am being quite lazy, because you can get access to this by removing the front headlight. Now, I know it's indulgent, but I did splash out on this security screw stainless steel set from Screwfix. It was 30 quid, but they're all stainless. There's loads of different sizes, type of security fittings. There's some countersunk, so it's a really good little bit of kit to have if you've got a Defender. I'll be using all of those, so it's just handy to have. So if I use a countersunk there, look, that looks pretty tidy, so I'm going to do that. Oh, they're going in a treat. Do they need to be that long? Let's try a slightly shorter one. No. So I don't need the massive ones. Use these, but these are going to look a treat. Okay, let's whiz over to the other side. So ever since I fitted the snow cowl previously, I've been really annoyed that the screws weren't long enough. Not going to have that problem now I bought that pack. So let's get 2 in. And then I'm going to put our snow cowl on the top, and you can see the difference because you've actually got more meat. That's how thick the plastic is on this, so you've got to add that to it. And I've got just the screw for the job. Oh, it was just really annoying me that they weren't catching, and they'd gone rusty. These won't. Right, I'm just going to turn the torque down because I don't want to crack this plastic housing. Oh, that is solid now. And I mean, it's not valuable, but that's going to be harder to nick. But look how solid that is now. Brilliant. So I know checker plate's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, we had to put checker plate back on our Defender. I really like the look of the white wing tops because you see so few Defenders now without checker plate that it's just a nice change. But unfortunately, because of the holes in there, we had to put the checker plate on. I have in the past done some repairs to wings and actually tried to fill those holes, but over time, the filler just drops through and you can't really do a nice job unless you like fiberglass it from underneath. It's a big job. So this is a great solution. I really do rate the Mammoth wingtop checker plate, but at the end of the day, I've said this before many videos, everybody's got a different budget. So if your budget will only extend, or you only want to spend so much on your wingtop checker plate, there are ways to make the budget checker plate fit as well and sound as good and just look as good as this stuff. But this is the premium quality checker plate that I would definitely recommend. It's going to be there forever. And yeah, tell me what you think of the new look for the Defender. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please do give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, you definitely need to do that. And I'll catch you on the next one.